Hey everyone, so we're going to run through this fairly quickly. I'm going to try and keep it under 15 minutes as always. And these are ideas that we have mentioned before, but they're also ideas that some of the people have asked for an opinion on what's going on today. So as always, consider subscribing to the channel. Just click the button and put on notifications, which should be working now, just because some of this is fairly timely. So let's just really dig into this and see what's going on here. So the first one is APPS. So you have we can see this here, right? So let's just start with seeing where this minor support level is. And we can see that minor support level at 84.15, and we're holding in there. And we're just building this flag. I mean, we're just shaking out weak hands. That's all we've been doing. All you're doing is backfilling. So nothing has really changed here. Would I add here? No. Because I don't really know what's going to happen here. I would look to see if I can get a clearing above this level. And then if I can get a clearing above it, then I may be interested. But right here at this particular junction, I would just sit and watch. I have the 5 and the 8 day that are kind of crossing. I'm not really sure what's going to happen there. So I would wait till we see a higher high and a higher close. We tried a couple times and failed. But do note on this move, and this has just been a monster, but do note on this move, look at the difference in volume on the breaks versus the selling. So massive buying versus a little bit of selling there. And that's pretty important to notice. So band, I mean, this just is really setting up here very nicely. So let's take a look at this. I mean, this is just, you can see here how you had this. Let's just draw it so you can see it. And we talk about this pattern a little bit, right? So you see how you have this downtrend right here? So this downtrend just happens to coincide with exactly where the support is, which just happens to be the open, which just happens to be the low, where the 5 and the 8 day are. I mean, this is like perfect. You have 4 different layers here on where to enter. And then you have this breakout. Now you have to look at the volume and drill down into it and see what's going on with that volume and see if you're really picking up. And you've got some above average buying on that break. So this could follow through. This is just the 15 minute, and you can kind of see this right now. So you see where your support is, and you can kind of see your flag here. It's kind of interesting, right? Very similar to APPS on the daily. So you can see how these patterns are recognizable on 15-minute charts, 5-minute charts, 1-minute charts. And then the validity of those charts is just predicated upon, the time frame. And larger time frames, you're much better off because there's, more supply and demand and you have more data points. But in regards to this, I mean, this is a clear breakout. And from this level, you now have this huge base. So really, the next, if we miss this one, I wouldn't be chasing here because we rejected. But if I flip 198.60 here, I'm going to get back into this channel. I get back into this channel. I mean, 230, 240. So this is definitely one to watch. Watch if you flip that 198.60 level and then go from there. So BNGO. I've been in it and out of this one a couple times. I like it, but we need some more oomph here. These averages are starting to cross and point up, but as I stated previously, when you're basing, it really doesn't matter because it's not really doing anything, right? So what do we do with that? Well, we just sit here and we watch, and we wait to see for this to trade up and start taking out some of these higher highs, which we've just really been unable to do, right? I mean, even these levels we're having issues with. So now I have this wedge right here. Hold on. Draw this now. There we go. And then we have this wedge right here, right? So now I'm really wedged in here. I can't get above this. It's becoming resistance. I really don't want to play with this. I need this to develop before I get involved. I could just be sitting with this for weeks or months while it develops. It's definitely the difference between, and you can see this, hopefully, but you can see how once we broke that trend, that was it. Boom. Broke it, 1, 2, 3. Usually 3 days you need to pop back into that channel. We didn't do that. And now we trade sideways and set up for the next leg. I'll wait for the next leg breakout. I don't want dead money just sitting in this space. So Blink actually was acting fairly better this morning, and now we're starting to come in a little bit and reject right around that 54 level. But we're not really breaking down too much. I mean, you're right here. So, you're still in this high tight flag now between this major support and this minor, or this major resistance and this minor. And these are shorter term averages, but they're rolling a little bit here. So we'll just have to see how this plays out. But we have rejected that 54 level. But again, I don't see a major issue to do anything about that rejection if you're already in it. If you're not in it, I mean, this is not the spot to really buy it. You kind of have to watch this. I mean, you could enter it with this 48.70 being your stop if we hold, but this thing's going to bounce around and it's pretty illiquid. I do like this, and I do like this pattern that we're in and how we're holding the channel, but you just need to be just be aware of it. But I'd look more for this kind of break above this wedge before adding at this point, because we've failed so many times. BNGO is one we had in the newsletter on Friday, and 1270, this little break we got in, and how we got in there was drilling down on the volume. So we kind of drilled down on the volume and saw these huge spikes coming in. And when we saw that, we saw the acceleration of this line, and you can see how this line's decelerating now as we test. There's no reason to do anything with it. I mean, if you wanted to and you got in on the newsletter, you're up over 20%. When you can blow some out if you really want to. I'm not going to move any of it. I'm going to see how this goes. If we can pop back in this channel, we can easily get to $20. So, but you can see right now how let's get rid of this little arrow for a moment so you can see this. See how we're not breaking through that channel right now, and we're just trending down. So you're going to have to watch that. I mean, it's 11:30, so I really don't know how we're going to trade right now, but let's just see how we act. But I have not moved. I've not moved any of this. So DMTK. So this has just been an absolute monster, and you can see when we broke and how we're rallying. But this could easily come back and test and retest this lower trend line, right? The trend line flipped when we broke out on that Texas news. So there's no reason to really run and gun here and jump and be involved. Just bide your time. So there's no real reason to do anything here. And I'm sure if we look at just go to a 15-minute real quick. I'm sure, you just see them, pardon me, all rolling. We broke the low of the day, huge down, red bar. So, I mean, to me, where would I enter this? I would watch these key levels. I mean, you could get to 67 fairly quickly. So just watch this. This is not something you need to jump into right now. My selling volume is greater than my buying volume. Not the best look. Fubo, we had these lines in from before. I mean, I'm right against the lower end trend line. So, and I have this little wedge here, right? And I have a wedge inside a wedge inside a wedge. Really? Right? Talk about meta. So, you can see this, right? And then you can see this one, right? So you can see these lines and where it's got to get through, right? But what's interesting is I'm at the lower end. These have crossed, which usually means that we're going to see more downward pressure. If I can close above one of these, really here, if I can pop above this might be an interesting place to try it, because I have been respecting that 21-day and that lower channel. But we want to see this flip first, because if we flip over here, then the 5 and the 8 will cross, and that will give us more momentum buyers to step into it. And let us try and challenge this 55 before getting back to the 62 level, which I still think is on the table. I don't think that's off the board at all. And let's just keep on going here. So trim on this one, NIO back here. We got in this at $48, right around here, trimmed up here, and now we're just bouncing around. You could see EV stocks and this whole EV space come in today just on the what's going on in Texas. There's a lot of chatter on some of these sell side desks about, it's costing $900 if you want to fill up your Tesla right now in Texas. I mean, I don't know why you have to do that right now, considering Texas is at 0 degrees while you're going anywhere. But people are losing power and heat, and it's showing a real issue with the power grid. So you could see some more pressure on these stocks today, and it looks like that's really what's happening right now. You can just kind of see it, right? We're just low of the day. I mean, there's no real reason for this, but with what's going on in Texas, it's highlighting some of the flaws of electric cars. So just keep that in mind. I mean, we did break out of this little wedge today, and then boom, we went right back. We're right back in it for now. But again, let's see how we close on the day, and we'll be able to have more data points. So this Plantar, we bought it, and then it failed, and we got out. This is nasty. And, we opened right on this line, looked like we were going to hold, and broke. And now we're at that 50-day, and it just looks nasty. So, avoid. This could bounce here, but I need some kind of trigger before I get involved. Now look at this, right, and see what's going on. I'm right on that 50-day. So maybe we hold here, maybe we don't. But I'm out of this channel. I need to pop back in this channel. I need to get above this resistance. Before I'm even, you can see where this resistance point is, before I'm even remotely interested. So, P-ton, we talked about how we flip these channels, and we're still bouncing right against that channel. We opened right at the top of the channel, and we came right to the 21-day. If you're long it, great. If you're long it on this break, great. There's your stop. But I would not touch this until we break this. When we clear this wedge, we should go to the 171 level. And right now, we're just not clearing it. So my pivot would probably be, 157. See if we clear that to then try and test that. Sava, I'm not surprised that we had this bounce. I did not enter a position today. I was too busy with others. But you can see, right, boom, bonk. And then look at this. I mean, it's almost picture perfect. The low of the day just happens to be this wedge again, right where we open. Now we're at the high of the day. It's a big short position, and you could just see this thing get squeezed, and you could see this continue higher. So if I was in this, I would continue to hold it. And I'm sure, and you're not overextended here remotely. So, I mean, you can just see it's been buying all day. All day it's been buying in this. And look at the green bars versus the red bars. I mean, I'm trying to keep it simple, but this is pretty powerful stuff when you start seeing moves like that. And you are in, so you are in this, right? You are in here. I mean, you're not up here like Riot and Mara are right now. And I might get to those. So you can see this. And this can really push. So if you're in it, I would stay in it and see how it plays out. Skills, I like this. I really like this stock, and I like what's going on here. We need to break this wedge, right? We respected this lower, we respected this, but we need to break this wedge and move higher. Right now with the 5 and the 8 crossing, we're at the top of it. I mean, I'm in no hurry here. I need to break, and I need to see volume like this for me to get involved. So Tiger, let's put this back here, and we'll go through it all. So Tiger's one that's been in the newsletter for, I don't know, a couple weeks. We watch this wedge. I mean, I'll say this again for people that are new to following me or us as a group. So stocks have patterns, okay? And they have personalities. So this one loves wedges. I mean, look at this, boom, and then bonk. I mean, it's constant. And look at the volume that's coming into this. The volume that's coming into this is just insane. And this was a fairly easy move today when I called this on Twitter. So I'll just kind of walk you through it. Off the open, and I leave every tweet up there. I don't delete them so that you can actually go through them and look at the timestamps. But so we had this hammer bar on the 15-minute, right? And as soon as we had that hammer bar and then cleared this, I mean, this was pretty clear what was going to happen. And look at the volume accelerate. And look at the volume accelerate here. So this was a pretty clear indication that you could add to the position on the clear break of a new high, right? We just happen to act like this, and this is your stop on the day. I mean, this is a fairly simple trade. I'm risking $1. So far, you're up $4 in it. And I think that this is setting up again right here. I don't think this is heading down. So, it seems like a really high tight flag. And as always, the rising channels are bearish. And you can see the reversal here. And then these are bullish. So I think we're in good shape there. And as usual, I'm over on my time. But I do want to run through something really quickly here. So this is Twitter, and you're right against this average. And let's just look at where that is and where that puts us. Okay, this puts you right at let's collapse these real quick. This puts you right at the high, right? I mean, that's where you stopped. I mean, you put this in a textbook and just watch it. So it's perfect. I mean, when people say technical analysis doesn't work, it makes you laugh, right? But look at this. I mean, if it clears this, I have this entire base, and I'm going to push. But I need to clear this. And if I do, you need to take a look at it. So this is Zoom, and I brought it up today. You're getting a little action, I think, because of what's going on in Texas, but I don't really care the reasons why. We bought here on the volume break of 405. It was 2x volume, and there was a couple other things that triggered here, but we bought it at 405. We're in here at 445. I still think we're getting to this level. I still think we're going to retest the highs on this one, and we just keep clearing levels, don't we, right? I mean, we just keep clearing them. So you can see this one's now cleared, now 430, right? And let's drill down into this, and look how that just happens to be the low of the day. Okay, so right around there, right around the 5-day, and here we go. So the next hurdle is going to be this one, 488. I mean, I think we get to 488 before we have to do anything. We're up 10%, we're up 40 points. I don't see a reason to trim anything here. Just let it go. So that's pretty much it, but I just want to touch base on something. People are asking about like Riot and how to play these. Look, you're this far off the base. You're 3x my 50-day moving average. If you think you can buy this and not come in one day and it be at $35, means that you don't really understand what's driving these. And you got to just look at these. Like Telray, we did really well with, right? Because we trimmed the whole way up. We bought here on the base, another base, right? And then we held that trend line. We talked about this trade. And then trim when we were up 100%, trim when we were up. We were not buying in here. Now look at how we're sitting on this level, okay? That's where you're going to want to buy Riot. But in the meantime, if you're looking and you want to be involved in it, then you need to start looking at these patterns on smaller time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15-minute charts. And then you can be in and out of them in the day if you so choose. So like I would look at this and go, okay, well, here's my low. If I break this, I want to get out of it, right? But then I still don't have a trigger to be in this, but I have this little wedge. So if I was looking at this and I wanted to be in it, I would, this is probably as low as I would go on it right now. But I need to break above this. And if I break above this wedge, then I can give it a chance. And here's my risk versus return. It's that simple, and you need to look at the volume, which is going away. But, I can get into that more detail on the weekends than I can right now. So that's it in a nutshell. Any questions? Shoot me an email or message me on YouTube or Twitter, and have a great day.